Hey guys, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. Today I'm coming to you from my back patio, and we'll talk about why I'm not filming in my usual location. But today I want to talk through kind of planning and looking ahead to the month of June after what turned out to be kind of an unexpectedly hard month of May. So hello again, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm a homeschooling mom of two, one of who is now a graduate, has finished up her school, and another one who will be a senior next year. And if you're brand new to my channel, I like to talk about all things homeschooling and mom life and home and garden and DIY projects and all kinds of fun things. So today though, I wanted to chat with you about kind of some updates on what's been happening. As the title of this video may have given you an indication, we had a rough month of April and May, unexpectedly rough months, and but still trying to be positive and looking forward to what we can get done in the month of June. And by the time this video goes up, I know we'll probably already be at least several days in June, but I have a graduation party coming up, and so I got to take care of that first. But I like to share this stuff because one, we can kind of keep up with each other and what's going on in life, and also it's motivating to be able to share things with you guys and feel kind of accountable to getting them all completed. So I shared a goals video back in April with some updates, but I actually skipped May, well, just because my mental health demanded it. We had a very difficult couple of weeks, and by a couple weeks I mean almost 6 solid weeks of just tough things. And I'm sorry, the sun keeps moving back and forth in and out of clouds, so I'm trying to stay where I'm not in the direct sun here. So maybe I should explain first of all why I'm filming outside and not down in our homeschool room, which is where I normally film. Well, this is a picture of what my basement currently looks like. And if you live anywhere that gets any amount of rain and you live on a basement, you know that kind of the curse of the sump pump failure, right? And this has actually happened to us more than once. And this time I told my husband, I said, this is the last straw. I'm like, let's just replace it all. We just need to replace it all. The sump pump, the battery backup, everything. And we replaced things and we put down sensors, but the sump pump decided to fail at 5 in the morning. We heard the alarm go off. We don't know why the sump pump decided to go off. We don't know why the battery backup didn't work, but we just put all new stuff in there and a whole bunch of sensors. We got these sensors off of Amazon that will connect to an app on our phone so we can make sure we get alerts, especially if we're not home for some reason. Thankfully, I had the foresight to put all of the furniture in the basement up on risers. That's a little bit of an expense initially to do that, but it saved the furniture. It saved the furniture, and we think the flooring is going to be okay. We've had big, powerful fans going pretty much nonstop to make sure everything gets really dry. I think we are going to have to cut some drywall though and replace it. I think that some of that's just beyond being saved, which will be we put drywall up initially. We cut it out one time. And I think this time we're gonna have to cut it out again, which it makes a little bit of a hiccup because everything in that basement gets shoved to the side that's dry, and then you can't access anything because my craft table's down there, my sewing stuff is down there, our homeschool materials are down there. That's the homeschool room. All of my books are down there. So yay, right? It's a bit of a mess there. So I hope the audio today will be okay because I just grabbed my AirPod. My other mics aren't really conducive for filming outdoors. They tend to pick up a lot of the breeze and stuff. So I don't know how well this will do. Hopefully it'll do okay. And you can hear me. So that was our first kind of big, well, not our first, that's our most recent big hiccup. In the April video, I had mentioned that I had a family member who was in the hospital. So my grandpa was in the hospital after a fall, and we thought he was getting better. He actually went over to rehab, and then he suddenly got really sick. He had all of these symptoms hit that were like delayed symptoms related to his initial injury. And so he had to get sent back over to the main hospital, and he was there for nearly 6 weeks. Multiple surgeries, a lot of subsequent issues that come up when you're hospitalized for a long period of time, just a lot of things coming up. Finally got him back over to rehab, and now at the point of filming this, we finally have a discharge date. Like, we know when he'll be coming home. And even when he comes home, though, you know, obviously there's a lot of adjustments when you need a lot of additional help. So, you know, but we're grateful that he is doing as well as he is, and we're just happy that he'll finally be out of the hospital. He went in on March the 27th. So, I mean, it's a long stay away from home, and it's been hard on everybody. And as kind of like the family nurse, I got called an awful lot and pulled into a lot of meetings and had lots of conversations with doctors and therapists, and had to advocate pretty strongly for some things. And you know, if you don't have somebody who's in the medical field in your family, make sure at least you have somebody who's able to be a really strong advocate for people in your family. Because I had to push for medicine changes. I had to push for therapy. I had to push for him to get even into rehab. Like I had to make a real pain in the butt of myself in order to get some things to happen. But I'm glad I did, because it was what was best for him in the long run. But it definitely adds a mental load when you're worrying about that, and you're taking care of those things, and just kind of trying to help people navigate and stuff like that. So that was kind of an added thing, and it took so long to get him to this point. I think we were all kind of we're just getting burnt out, wondering what was going to happen next. And then we had a loss. If you've been if you've got fur babies, you know how devastating it is to lose one of them. And near the end of May, we had to put our dog Squirt down. So Squirt was a 100-pound Labradoodle, friendliest dog you will ever have met. Loved everybody. Everybody was his friend. Everybody. He just was so full of energy and just the absolute best boy. He is named that because when we first met him, I actually have a picture when I took my kids. It's Emma holding him. He was the tiniest dog in the litter, and so we were like, yeah, we like the dog that's the little Squirt, and the name just stuck. So, but his appetite went away in April, and if you have pets, you know that when they stop eating, that's usually a big red flag. Something's going on. And he had been known to get into some things he wasn't supposed to, eat some things he wasn't supposed to. So I thought, oh gosh, maybe he's got a blockage. We tried some things like pumpkin, which can help with like the constipation. We monitored him to see if he was going to the bathroom, and he was, but he just did not want to eat. So I said, well, let's go to the vet. Took him to the vet, and his lab results and a follow-up ultrasound showed that he had end-stage liver failure, which the vet said had probably been developing for months, and it just that his liver shrunk to the point where he was finally symptomatic. So no energy, no appetite. This dog lived for food, and just I couldn't get him to eat anything. We tried appetite stimulants. We were giving him anti-nausea meds, liver support medication, special diet. And I was lucky if we could get him to eat a little bit in a day. And, and you can't just let your pets drag on like that. So we made the really hard decision to put him down. And it was devastating because he was my baby. And he was the dog that the kids had grown up with. They were 6 and 7 when we got him, and my son especially took it hard, and he went with me when we put him down, but it was really hard, and we miss him. I keep expecting him to come like interrupt a video, or to meet me at the door, or come lay with me on the couch. But yeah, so May was hard. And then add to that, you know, all the emotions that come about when you're getting ready to graduate a child too. Because I've been pretty good holding it in emotionally, but now that we're here and we're getting ready to celebrate, and she's finished up everything. She's finished up everything for me. She's finished up all her college classes. You know, we've got her class schedule for the fall. We signed the lease on her apartment, like all those things. It's just like, oh gosh, now it's here and it's real, and she's going to be leaving, and whew, it's a lot. It's a lot. So with all of that going on, I didn't post anything about goals in May, because our one goal in May was to try to get our dog better. I feel like get grandpa better, get the dog better. Like we were trying on two fronts there to try to help, and there was just no focusing on anything else. So going into June though, I want to try to go into this month with as positive of a mindset as possible, because one, we are going to be starting off the month with celebrations. We're going to be celebrating my daughter's graduation. We're going to be having her graduation party, and we are, you know, we're in that finally that nice weather season. We have got some travel coming up in June. Going to be going to Glacier National Park for 9 days on a trip with my troop, which, I mean, I'm so excited. We're going to be whitewater rafting and horseback riding and hiking, and I've not been to Glacier. It's been on my bucket list, so I'm really excited to go and mark another national park off that I have seen. I have all kinds of stuff going on in the garden. Everything is out and looking gorgeous, and I'm really excited about it. So definitely trying to be positive in this month. So what then will I actually be focusing on? Because with goals, I like to categorize them. And maybe I'll just start off with homeschooling, because June traditionally has been my homeschool planning month. I feel like I get done with school in May and I'm still kind of in that mode, and I'm excited about like new curriculum that we've gotten in. And so it had naturally made sense for me to sit and go ahead and start to do my planning for the upcoming year. And I am going to shift because, all right, that's a little bit better. Hopefully I can stay out of the sun a little bit, because it makes the light really wonky, but we'll see what we can do. It's a nice day that the sun keeps moving in and out of the clouds. So there we go. I think that'll work. But June's normally been my planning month. I don't say, like, I don't exact plan like, hey, we're going to do this on every single day, but I like to fill out my lesson planner with a general idea of what we're going to be doing. You know, a lot of curriculum is really helpful. It has kind of an outline for you, and I put that into my lesson planner so I can get an idea of how the weeks are going to work and when we're going to be working on what, and adjust things if it looks like, oh, hey, this week looks like it's going to be really heavy. Maybe we should move some things around, that kind of stuff. It just gives me a starting point for the school year. But I think I'm going to actually take the month of June and not do any lesson planning. I think I'm going to hold off and do that in July. I mean, I only have one student that I'm planning for. I've got the ones that, you know, I mentioned in April that I'm teaching as well. So, I mean, I'll have that stuff to do, but I won't have, you know, even the curriculum for that until July. So, I mean, July kind of makes sense for that to become the planning month, because with June, with travel and things like that and the party, I just want a break. I don't want to sit there and have to be thinking about that too closely. I just want to take that little bit of a mental break. So what will we do is in regards to homeschooling for June, I think mostly it's just going to be making sure we get everything in, so that way it's ready to go for July. I've bought the majority of the curriculum, but my son is doing 2 guest hallow courses, one of which we already have all the curriculum and the books for, because my daughter took the same course. But the other one, there are still books to order in. So probably getting those ordered in, getting like supplies ordered in. I still need to order his Bible studies, like just making sure that I have it all. So that way when we get to July, I can sit down and I can go through my planning, and I'll show you kind of how I plan different subjects out to give some tips and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty much all we will do related to homeschooling in June, is we'll just make sure we have everything ordered and try to hunt for some good deals and things like that. And I think that also kind of flows naturally over into work, because, you know, while I work outside of the home, and I mentioned I'm going to have to do some lesson planning for the classes I'll be teaching in the fall. I'll do that in July. But I also have, you know, here on YouTube, I've been working on quite a bit of things behind the scenes, and my timing on them has not been what I've wanted it to be, simply because life has been just, it's been a rough year life-wise, and I feel like I keep having to say, okay, something's got to give, and it's been stuff related to YouTube. But I do have that video series that's coming out this month related to like chemistry tutorial videos. I have resources to release. I have a curriculum to release. So, you know, I have those things to get out. And I'm telling myself to not stress about, you know, timing wise, like, hey, you've got things ready, just put them out as, you know, you have a sec to sit down and work on getting it uploaded and things like that. So, you know, working on getting back to some consistency, providing you guys with some good quality videos that I think will be helpful. I've kind of looked at some of the specific things that we've been doing with homeschooling, that especially with my daughter being in her college dual enrollment classes, things that I thought would be really helpful for college preparatory lessons, like things that will help your student, especially if they're going into college. Things like how to properly annotate literature, how to take good quality notes, how to help your student learn how to study, because I know not every homeschooling family does tests and things like that, but your student, if they're going to go to college, they're going to have to do those things. And, you know, it's a skill to learn. It's a skill that they're going to have. So I thought about maybe providing some information on that, how I taught them those skills, how I'm teaching the kids that I'm teaching outside of the home those skills too. So that way, you know, you have that as some resources. Home and garden wise, that's another one of my categories. In April, I talked about prepping the garden, which is done. Garden's done. Things are planted. It's looking good. I'm really excited. We have some, you know, bigger projects that are going to go on over the summer. Like we actually have, you see this white barn, we've had plumbers out. We are working on adding a yard hydrant so I can have water access further from the house where I have some of the bigger garden beds. Super excited for that to get completed. The rain has made them have to stop because they'll dig a hole and it'll fill up with water. So they need like 4 or 5 straight days of dryness to come back out and finish that. But once that's done, water access by the barns, and that will make it so much easier, because currently I have to haul like, you know, a couple 100 feet of hoses over that way to water things, and it's a real pain to do, and I'm getting too old to haul hoses across the yard. But I'm really excited by everything that I put in the ground. I'm really I mean, I should give you guys a tour at some point here because it's so pretty. I'm loving it. But we got the kitchen cleaned out because May was a very busy month for cake orders. June is turning out to be a very busy booked month too. And then we were going to work on remodeling our bedroom space, which I got some of it done. It's not 100% done. I want to finish up some pieces of it. And I think that will happen in June. I think we will finish and like say, okay, the bedroom is completed. It's looking good. It'd be, you know, an area of peace then, because it won't look like it's a halfway done project, because walking through a room that's a halfway done project kind of makes my mind. So for home and garden in June, finishing up that project will be kind of our biggest thing, just making sure it's 100% done. And I've been filming like as we've done different steps, so that way I can show you what we did, because we did it on a very tight budget. We were looking to spend as little money as possible to make a space that we liked, and being smart with what we were purchasing on there. Most of what I'm going to focus on then outside of that will be working on some of those bigger gardening projects. The ones that will probably not be 100% complete at the end of the month. And I'm okay with that because I know that these are kind of long-term projects. I mentioned we're getting water access. That was a big one. But we've also been wanting to put in a border on one side of our property that kind of, there's a road that runs along our property because we're on a curve. And we want to have like a long stretch of like a huge flower bed that has trees and evergreens and perennials and just kind of makes a block from the road. So one, it'll make it a little bit quieter. It'll give us a little more privacy. It'll just be a really pretty backdrop to everything. And it's one of those projects where, you know, to do the whole thing at once would be insane and it would cost an insane amount of money. And so what I'd rather do is just pick a section and just start. Like pick like a 10-foot section and get the grass gone, get the dirt down, and go and pick out maybe a couple of anchor pieces, like one good sized tree to get in the ground. And then I have a ton of perennials that I started this year from seed, and those are the only things I actually haven't planted out because I want them to put on some size before I plant them out. So I've just been potting them up. But once they've put on a little more size, then have those in front of the tree to start kind of creating a space. So even if I don't get, you know, big stretches done, if I can say, okay, we're going to do a 10-foot block, maybe each month while we have nice weather, then by the end of the summer, you know, I could have a 30-40 foot stretch of that new bed started. And I think that would be really good. And then we can just pick up next spring and continue on until we've got the whole line done. So it'll be interesting to get to work on that. I'll get to go do some tree shopping, which I have not done tree shopping in a while. I'm just, you know, anxious to get some trees with some size, you know, and I'm not talking about going and buying like a 20-foot tree, but you know, even if you buy a tree that's like a 5-foot tall tree, that gives you a pretty significant advantage in terms of growth. The tree's a little more established. It's more likely to survive. It will put on size more quickly. You know, we'll be able to start to fill up that space. So I really like to be able to do that. With my faith and personal goals, I finished the study I was doing on the book of Job, which was interesting, to say the least. It was a good one. I enjoyed that, and I got another book of the Bible read. I had wanted to try to get 2 done. I got 1, but time. So I'm continuing to try to read through the Bible. I got through a good chunk of it last year, and I'm going to work on finishing it up between now and the end of December. So I'll have my full read through beginning to end. And then I'll go back, you know, obviously, and do more deep dives on different books. So I worked on that, and I was trying to think of like what I wanted to do next, because typically I'm very big on listening to like Bible study podcasts during the summer because I'm outside so much. So I just pop it on my phone and have my AirPods in, and I'm listening to that. But I'm still up in the mornings pretty early, and I like the idea of, you know, reading and writing as a part of my Bible study. So my kids had done one. My daughter did one on, it was like on anxiety a couple years ago, and it was from Daily Grace Co. And not that I feel like I'm an overly anxious person. I'm not, you know, I don't get too worked up on things too often, but simply because there have been so many curveballs lately, and quite honestly, I know my daughter's going to do just fine when she goes to college. Like, I know she's going to do fine. I think as we get closer and closer to that move date, I'm going to be having the hard time. I think just hoping that things will be okay. And, you know, when your child's away from home, you stress about them. And I feel like maybe I need to do that study on anxiety, simply to remind myself that God's in control of all things and that his hand is on her, and, you know, it will be okay. But I feel like I need to kind of do a deep dive study and really remind myself of that. So I will work on that. And then family and personal goals. Honestly, I just want to get through this graduation party. And that's at the beginning of the month. And then I can say that goal's met. We are going to be having a party. We're going to be celebrating. we're only a couple of days away from it now, and just trying to wrap up all of the things. I just want to get through that. I just want that to be awesome for her. I want her to get to enjoy it. I want to make it a good memory for her, and you know, for all of us. So we're just gonna do that. So yeah, so that is kind of what's been happening and where things are at, and what's going on. So I sure hope you all had a smoother end of the school year than we did. It just, you know, sometimes life, right? And you gotta put your head down and truck through it and do your best and lean on the people around you. My family's been great. My kids have been great. My husband's been great. My friends have been amazing. Oh my gosh, I'll tell you, like, people just feel like they're coming out of the woodwork right and left, asking how they can help with things and offering support. And it's so amazing. It warms my heart to have all of these people in our lives who are willing to kind of help us when things are rough. So it's been truly wonderful to have kind of that whole community, you know, surrounding us and helping us out with things. So tell me down below in the comments, how did your school year wrap up? What have you been up to? What exciting things are you planning for the summer? Any words of advice on any of the things that we're going through or that we're planning to do that you want to share? If you live on a basement, somebody please tell me the secret to not having your basement flood anymore, because I told my husband, I said, if we win the lottery, we're bulldozing this house and we're putting in a ranch with no basement, because like, I'm done with basements, guys. So anyways, it's a gorgeous day. So I am going to go change into some garden clothes. I'm going to get out here and spend some time just enjoying getting my hands dirty, planting some more things. I don't know where I'm going to plant any more things. I'm running out of room. I'll make a new garden bed and I'll plant some more things. But taking care of the things that we have. Thanks so much for joining me for this update video. I will post here shortly then all of our planning and things that went into our graduation party, and hopefully some pictures to show you how it went and some video of how it went. So if you need ideas for a graduation party for your homeschool graduate, you can feel free to check that out. Thanks again for joining me, guys. I will see you in the next one, and until then, happy homeschooling.